Hi, loves. Welcome back to my little vent corner slash love on you corner. Remember that I love all of you, and that even though I may not see you, I may not talk to you, I may not be in front of you, I love all of you. Okay? I just wanted to remind you of that. Also, I want to talk about my growth, right? But I want to be more specific. A couple years ago, I made a video and I talked about how I have always felt a certain way and that I was changing, right? And that I felt like if you met me today, or if you met me yesterday, if you met me a week ago, or if you met me a year ago, I wouldn't be the same person, right? Because I was always changing. Here's the thing. I knew when I said that, I knew back then that people wouldn't believe me. Because most people tend to stay the same way forever. They grow with age, but they stay the same exact way mentally and emotionally for the rest of their lives. When I was young, I learned to be someone that wasn't authentically me. After the biggest, most painful heartbreak of my life, and it wasn't just heartbreak because of my relationship, but it was heartbreak within myself. I changed because after my attempt, which was my last one, I decided something needs to change. You know, um, not only did I find that there had to be a reason why I was still here, but I think overall, I wanted to find such deep love for myself that I had never felt. I wanted to find a self, I wanted to have not only self worth and self love, but a sense of identity. And I began a journey. The beginning of my journey, of my healing journey, was me healing the pain that I had felt for years, the feelings of being unheard and unseen. If you haven't watched my video that I recently uploaded, watch that. I talk about that. But that's what I dealt with first. And of course, every healing has a process, so of course I'm still going through that, right? But that's what I started with. And then I went on to um go through what I used to feel self-worth, or what I used to feel love because I didn't receive it. I went through that process. And then I started touching base on what I thought at the time had been enough to make me feel like I was loved, right? So the types of relationships that you get into, usually, whether it's friendships or like love relationships, usually come from how you feel about yourself or what you think is enough for you, right? And at that time, it was pretty low. So I started analyzing every past relationship, why I had been in the relationships, what things I allowed them, how I allowed them to treat me, what things I allowed them to say or do, um, and how I would react at the moment versus in the past, right? So I reflected a lot on that. And then after that, I went back on, how I grew up, my childhood trauma, right? Which that, again, I'm still working on that. And I think that's something that I'll keep working on for the rest of my life, right? Because it's not like I could go back and fix it. Not like I can go back and fix it within myself, but I can't make the choices for people to fix it. You know what I'm saying? I can't go back in time and be like, hey, you're doing this wrong, or hey, you should do this instead, you know? But I can fix it within myself and parent myself and love myself enough to heal these wounds on my own, right? I did try to fix it, uh, not by myself, like by searching for the people that I felt hurt me, but it didn't work out, you know? And anyway, at the very end is when I really, because I used all the love and care that I had for that person that I was with to do these things, right? So I wasn't anywhere near touching at all because I didn't want to, because the love that I had for him, I transformed into me, right? So I didn't want to touch the subject of us at all until the end. Which is why I know 100% it took me longer to heal from it, to really get over it. You know, it didn't take me a year because I didn't want to touch the subject, because to me, he was the best thing that had happened in my life so far. He really was. So far in my life, that he was the best thing that had happened, even if it wasn't perfect. And so I didn't even want to touch the subject. When I finally did touch the subject, it was painful. And, you know, most of the time during me using the love that I had for him and turn it to myself, I was only remembering how much he hurt me, because that was the only way to not feel so much attachment, because I was very attached. And if you want to know, go watch my other video, my darkness raw, which is, I believe that's really where I really get into how attached I was to him, to the point where I couldn't breathe without him. But I don't want to get too into that. So if you want to hear about that, go watch that video. It also talks about my depression, if you want to know about that. But basically, I had to go through first only remembering all the bad memories so that I could fix myself, heal myself, become the version that I've always wanted or better, and not be swayed by my emotion to him, you know? Like, I know a lot of people do get swayed by their emotions, you know? They either seek revenge or they're constantly looking for their ex. And I was constantly reminding myself of the bad so that I wouldn't do any of it, you know? With time, when I actually started to face our relationship as a whole, not just the bad, not just the good, that's when it started hurting. And it took me, I probably think, 2 to 3 years from the breakup to really, really touch the real subjects, you know, to look at the whole picture. You know, a lot of the good, a lot of the what I thought was good, a lot of the things that I was convincing myself of, and the bad, you know? And it had to go through stages. Sometimes I would only think of the good. Sometimes I would think of the things that were like, what is that? You know, was that, you know, some of the things, some of the mindsets that I had even when I was with him were surprising to me, that I was able to block out, you know, and then I would remember and I would be like, okay, that's amazing. Anyways, I realized a lot. I grew so much from these couple of years ever since that breakup. I mean, we broke up 2021, right? Like a month away from it being 2022. Our relationship only lasted a year and a half, I think. And it was interesting. It was an interesting relationship. I loved him so much. I loved him more than life itself, more than my life. I'll put it that way. But I want you to understand something about my growth. I had to work a lot to get here. A lot of mental work, a lot of emotional work, and some physical work, you know? And one thing I can say is that it disappoints me that I've changed a lot in the past 5 years. Imagine how much I've changed in the past 10, 15, 20 years. And people tend to not see you past what they want to see you. And I experience this every day. Every day. And it's disappointing because I wish people would see who you are. Instead of thinking so emotionally about who they think you were or who they think they see you as, I wish people would see you as you actually were. And I've grown, and I mean this, so much from when I was 5, 10, 15, even 20, you know? And so it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I am very proud of myself. And that's also why I tend to stay away from people, because when I notice that people don't want to see you for who you are, but who they want you to be or who they think you are, it becomes a problem, because that means you're not allowed to grow. You're not allowed to change. You're not allowed to change your mind. And that's what life is, constantly changing your mind. I mean, let me give you a ridiculous example so you can understand me. For years, I loved eating tuna. A couple months ago, I tried to eat tuna. It tasted like fish. And I know you're going to be like, huh? It is fish. Honey, when I tell you that that tuna tasted so fishy like I just caught it, no. No. So I stopped eating tuna, and it's disappointing. But it's the perfect example to tell you, because it's like I change. My taste buds change, my likes change, my boundaries changed, my self-love, self-worth changed. I changed. And I want people to understand that. We choose if we want to change. I chose to change. I chose to be a better person. I chose to love myself more. I chose to put myself first above everyone else most of the time. Because I know that I still treat people with kindness and love. But I still will choose me over everyone all the time. Because I've worked on myself so much. And so it's almost disrespectful. No, it is disrespectful to see when people don't see you for who you are, you know? Or even like I've given advice and I repeat and I actually get annoyed by it when I have to repeat myself over and over again, trying to tell people, I'm not judging you, I'm not criticizing you. I'm telling you how to be a better person, Or if you did this, your life would be better, And it's not to criticize you, it's to tell you I did the same thing to me. And it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, to see things about you that you don't like, to hear things about you that you don't like. But unless you change it, you just stay the same person forever. And I had to go through that. I had a lot of conversations with myself, because I do talk to myself, because I learned to do it since I was young, and that's how I grew. That's how I healed. Would I want a supportive, friendship or partner or somebody, you know what I mean? Yes. I haven't been able to find it. So for now, it's me helping myself grow and be a better person every day. But I want people to see that. I want people to stop seeing me in the way they want, If I bring up your pain, it's not to make fun of you. It's not to talk trash about it. It's to find a way to heal it, to get past it, to grow from it, And I think a lot of people, which is, I think it's a part of this. I think it's a part of why people project, right? These things that they think or feel about you. It's because they can't get past things themselves. And they project a lot, which I've seen a lot happen, where someone is like, I'm telling them something and they start projecting like, oh, you're just saying da 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 about me. And it's because they themselves think that of themselves, or they think that of you, and so they think you're judging them, or they think you're trying to whatever, And so I think that's disappointing. I think that there probably will be a lot of people in life that will judge you or that will criticize you in a non constructive way, but I think people need to realize one thing about me. I'm a loving individual. I am not going to be trying to harm anyone. Anything I do is going to be solely out of love and wanting to make your life better. That's it. Even when you hurt me. I'm so serious right now. Even when you hurt me. I I'm always thinking of what other people may think or feel. It's never just me. Even as I am now, as a person who puts my thoughts and feelings above others, trust me, I give myself time to feel what I feel and think what I think, while I also allow myself time to reflect on what other people might be feeling or thinking or going through. And then I follow through with what feels fair. And so, yeah, I guess my point in this video is put yourself first, think of other people as well, and let people grow. And if people aren't willing to grow and they're hurting you, let them go. Much love, much light, and c'est la vie.